Give me some volume. Go full screen.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country. Yeah. We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all auto.
Divorce rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men. Terrible that you would applaud that.
Barack Obama didn't fade out, he went Hollywood, swapping State of the Union speeches for Netflix scripts and oceanfront living. These days, he's churning out memoirs like mixtapes and offering life lessons from a throne made of contradictions. Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld aren't buying the reboot. They're peeling back the gloss to uncover the real story. All image, no core. Get ready for a savage roast, where charm meets cold truth and still lands a development deal.
I got a glass of water. I'm serious. I'm thirsty. Can I get a glass of water? This is not a prank. You never seen it?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Oh,
it's amazing.
No.
He gets a glass of Flint tap water, and I swear to God, he drinks it like this, like this.
Problem
He's
is solved?
bullshitting the world. Watch this.
Can I get some water? I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Usually when something isn't a stunt, you have to say
It's
that.
100% a stunt. When was the last time a president stopped a speech to ask, can I get a glass of water? What? They would never do that. They would have water ready for him. No, you bring a fucking water on.
Obama gay needing attention over a old letter. What? I should read that again. Anyway, no, we'll just keep going. The New York Post obtained a redacted portion of a handwritten letter the former president sent to his then college girlfriend, Alex McNear. Alex, back in 1982. He talked about his, quote, androgynous mind and wrote, and I'm quoting Obama here, I make love to men daily, but in the imagination.
Obama strode into history wielding a pen, a teleprompter, and the swagger of a man convinced that hope counted as policy. There's something poetic about someone speaking with such grace for 8 years and managing to say almost nothing. His presidency felt like a TED Talk with armored limos. Impressive delivery, empty outcomes, and a crowd that clapped like he'd cured cancer every time he flashed a smirk.
Michelle Obama surprised fans on her new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up. When she cleans it! When she cleans it!
Joe Rogan circles the nostalgia waters like a shark picking up the scent of spin. If you know Joe, you've already sparred bears on psychedelics and debated time travel in a sauna. When he eyes Obama's legacy, he doesn't see a leader, he sees a comic who landed a Netflix gig without writing a single joke. From the first, let me be clear, Rogan knew clarity wasn't coming. We got the political equivalent of interpretive dance. Lots of motion, no meaning.
You know, he was roasting Trump in the audience, and you could see Trump in his head going, oh, okay, I'm gonna run now. Like, that might have been the thing that got him to run.
No one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
That one moment where Obama was talking to him might be the reason why Trump was like,
Enter Greg Gutfeld, wearing that trademark smirk that practically says, watch me dismantle your legacy with sarcasm and caffeine. And Obama gave him plenty of material. This is the guy who landed a Nobel Peace Prize before finding the restroom. In the West Wing then followed it up with drone strikes across the Middle East, while being toasted by movie stars. It was like watching a self-proclaimed pacifist win a UFC title before the fight, only to charge into the ring swinging a steel chair backed by a choir of fawning journalists.
President number 44 wants to help the left censor more. Former President Obama, that's his real name, is launching a campaign to stop the spread of disinformation, which he called a real challenge for our democracy. and also for his former thief, who's challenged by questions like, what's my name and why am I nude in the Rose Bowl?
Joe Rogan tackles foreign policy like a pit bull tearing into overpriced Italian leather. He's not breaking down diplomacy, he's calling it out like a UFC ref watching a guy tap out beneath a barrage of airstrikes. Obama's infamous red line in Syria. Rogan treats it like a prepper treats a busted compass. Dangerous because someone might still trust it. The warning to Assad landed with all the weight of a teacher scolding a kid for chewing gum in class. Predictably, Assad didn't blink.
Because Obama said he was a jackass.
The young lady seems like a perfectly nice person. She's getting her award. What's he doing up there? He's a J.
It's like, oh really? Well, you.
It was about the Taylor Swift thing.
All this stuff.
That guy's a jack. But it wasn't even that harsh of an incident. He said it privately, and I think somebody heard it. I don't think he said it to be public.
I'm assuming all this stuff. Where's the pool? Come on, guys. Cut the president some slack.
Oh, here it is.
Seems like a perfectly nice person. He's getting her award.
Why would he do that?
He's a J. No.
Gutfeld grabs the economic script and roasts it like it's last year's turkey dry, overhyped, and begging for gravy. He pulls out that shovel-ready jobs line and turns it into a Broadway punchline. Shovel-ready. Only thing prepared was the public's blind faith in poetic campaign lingo. It was like ordering filet mignon and getting a Yankee Candle. The post-2008 recovery staggered forward like it had a hangover from the election slogans. But if success was measured by how often you could say recovery summer without cracking up, Obama was winning gold. Joe Rogan piles on, mocking Obama's Wall Street bromance while he played Messiah to Main Street. The man walked into Goldman Sachs events like a burned-out roadie looking for a gig bailed out the banks. Ignored the homeowners, then posed like he taught America to tread water. It's political burglary, followed by applause. Gutfeld then scalps Obamacare with scalpel-grade sarcasm. Touted as a healthcare revolution, it ended up being a confusion coupon book in disguise. Universal coverage. More like a bureaucratic maze, written by the DMV during a power outage. The site crashed harder than MySpace. And there was Obama grinning like a DJ who doesn't realize the dance floor is on fire.
Let's admit it, America. We miss Barack Obama.
Juan does.
There he is. In a recent speech, he said he had no real scandals in his White House, jabbing Trump.
We didn't have a scandal that embarrassed us. I know that seems like a low bar. Generally speaking, you didn't hear about a lot of drama inside our White House.
No drama. So to quote the TSA officer whose dog just sniffed my carry-on, let's unpack this. So why didn't you hear much about O's White House? Well, who was brave enough to look? There was never a cozier relationship between a president and the media, ever. If the White House were a bed, the press was the mud.
Joe dives headfirst into the culture wars. Under Obama, America didn't just flirt with identity politics. Ed cannonballed into it like a teenager diving into a pool full of Tumblr tags. Rogan, never shy about touching third rails, couldn't overlook how the unifier managed to slice the country into more subgroups than a vegan grocery aisle. Unity gave way to hashtags. Gutfeld mocks the myth that you needed a cipher key to grasp Obama's genius when really all you needed was the stamina to endure an hour of shiny emptiness without blacking out. Rogan slams down the mic on surveillance, ripping into the security state that mushroomed under Obama like Orwell on steroids. The NSA didn't just track threats, they were practically listening in on grandma's cookie recipes. The guy who promised transparency ended up building a surveillance fortress and handed the keys to the deep state with a grin. And still, the applause came like he'd delivered liberty, not a wiretap.
And this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy.
Really? Did you have a high opinion of him
Yeah,
before?
I did. Yeah, I did, just as an intelligent person.
Right.
But watching him just straight up lie about Trump, the thing that got me was that very fine people thing, the white supremacist thing. They just kept trying to say that he was a racist.
Who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally?
Which is this thing that I think worked in like 2017.
Yeah.
I think it worked back then. I don't think it works anymore. I don't think people...
Greg pulls out his sarcasm roller and splashes it across Obama's legacy like Pollock doing political graffiti. He torches the Iran deal of foreign policy Hail Mary. That looked more like betting your mortgage on a roulette table, missing numbers, billions handed to a regime shouting death to America, and Obama smiled like he just negotiated peace through poetry. Gutfeld imagines Obama blindfolded, shaking hands with the Ayatollah while diplomats scrambled through mismatched scripts. Then the immigration paradox takes a swing. Obama, the same man who deported more people than any predecessor, told bedtime story speeches to activists. Rogan paints the image. Obama at the foot of the Statue of Liberty, preaching hope, only to yank a trapdoor beneath thousands of dreamers. It wasn't a sanctuary, it was theater in a press release costume.
They're doing. Or you go after other Democrats. Let the primaries start now. Go after Newsom. Or, go after Fetterman. Go after somebody. The media will gobble that up. Or you go after some foreign leader. Take an axe to Chi, or go after the cartels or something. Get yourself banned from travel somewhere, okay? Mm-hmm. And then go after some CEO. Go after some big fat cat CEO that's just like hurting his workers and just running up prices. Go after that guy. And then you go on Rogan and you laugh at yourself. That is the recipe for getting attention without going after Donald Trump. Because every time you clash with Trump, you lose, and you look like you don't care about the rest of the American people.
We've talked a lot about how the Democrats are trying to find the answer to Trump. They're trying to find the analog to him. But part of Obama's comments too is that stop looking for the quick fix. Stop looking for the Messiah. You have a great candidates running races right now. Just focus on what you have in front of you.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you listen to Obama and you look at these inorganic protests, they say you have to have courage, rally, act, resist, but they don't. For what? What is the actual issue? When Trump owns every issue 80-20 by almost every metric, from the economy to crime to immigration, where are you? The high ground maneuver of common sense is relegated into more extreme measures. Ask Obama, okay, where do I apply this courage? What space do I park it in? Should I double down on trans dudes in women's sports? Should I back the attacks on ICE? Should I show courage?
Gutfeld swoops in on the celebrity circuit. From Beyonce to Spielberg, Obama wasn't so much leading as he was hosting high-end photo shoots. Every state dinner felt like an Oscars after-party with more nukes. Greg pictures Obama rehearsing, his cadence in front of a mirror, candles lit, Tom Ford in the air. It wasn't policy, it was premium brand governance with a Spotify jazz mix and a hired fact-checker. Joe zeroes in on Chicago. How could he not? The city that birthed Obama's politics but bled under his watch violence, crumbling schools, generational decay. Rogan lays it bare. You can't fly over a crater and call it a garden. Chicago became the symbol of what he claimed to fix, while he collected checks and delivered rhetorical solos over the wreckage. Then Gutfeld torches the Climate Act. Obama flew into green summits aboard Air Force One, left with tote bags and vague promises. He pledged green jobs like handing out lemonade coupons in January. Meanwhile, carbon emissions danced on. Greg jokes Obama probably slapped a solar panel on his golf cart just to flex at Martha's Vineyard.
Obama, part of the reason it's hard to bring about change is because we live in a media environment that elevates falsehoods as much as truths and divides people as much as it brings them together. Through the Obama Foundation, we're working to empower and equip emerging leaders to tackle issues like the spread of disinformation. Of course, as plenty of people immediately pointed out, it was Obama's Democratic allies who cooked up the Russian collusion hoax. Or how about Dick Sandman, Hands Up Don't Shoot, Don't Say Gay, or the Hunter laptop story? They're all stories where the public was shielded from the truth with help from the Democratic-friendly legacy media, who try to diss any information that threatens their narrative. And by narrative, I mean Logan.
Rogan lands a clean shot at the post-presidency glow-up. Obama's no longer a commander-in-chief. He's a content creator with a podcast, production label, and beachfront preaching perch. It's like watching someone who auctioned off authenticity now sell motivational slogans to the same fans. Warning about climate change from a mansion 5 feet above sea level. That's brand synergy. Greg takes aim at the racial divide. Obama had the chance to bridge it, maybe even end it. Instead, he sprinkled division like grated cheese on a grievance salad. Gutfeld imagines him channeling Socrates on stage while penning the playbook for cancel culture mobs. It wasn't bridge building, it was moral shaming packaged as poetry. Disagree with his policies. Suddenly, you were morally defective half a citizen with a full target on your back. Rogan doesn't skip the ego either. The smirk, the gaze, it wasn't leadership. It was elite disdain in a Harvard package. He calls it Ivy League swagger, where brainpower is presumed, and responsibility outsourced. Obama fielded praise like a celebrity, and ducked criticism like it came from beneath him unless it came with a byline from Vanity Fair or applause from a think tank. And when it came to thick skin, his was thinner than the GDP bounce in 2010.
Remember when they gave that speech, when he gave a speech on television, and everybody was like, fuck this. And then they it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up and stopped a war from happening.
Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya in support of an international effort to protect.
Gutfeld doesn't drop the education grenade. He's still swinging. Obama, the darling of academia, did more to pad union power than to rescue failing classrooms. Greg laughs at the irony a man, hailed as an intellectual letting urban schools rot while greenlighting grants to study climate change effects on squirrels. School choice, vanished, parental voice, optional. But if you craved a lecture on systemic inequity, Obama had a slideshow and a think tank ready to roll. Joe closes round one with this. Obama wasn't a leader, he was a brand ambassador for vibes. Smooth as silk, but selling nothing. Crisp, minty, designer labeled nothing. He gave people the illusion of purpose while their premiums tripled and the VA couldn't find their records. That's the grift, that's the art. He didn't lead, he narrated decline with a podcast voice and a country club backswing. And they both know the roast isn't over. There's still glitter on the myth. Still more illusion to crack open. Still more symbolic medals rusting in the display case of a man who replaced action with eloquence. And just when you think the credits roll, Obama slides back in with another memoir and a content deal every 14 minutes.
You know, if you watch Fox News on a regular basis, it is a constant menu. They will find, like, folks who make me mad.
So let's analyze. He says Fox goes out of its way to locate and then demonize the poor. For what reason? So we can kill and eat them? His criticism is absurd because he never suggests a motive. FNC is always focused on policies that keep the poor, not the...
Joe Rogan can't help but chuckle. Here's a guy who dodged heat for 8 years, now peddling advice like a drone-certified monk. This isn't leadership, it's luxury brand self-help. Obama turned his presidency into a streaming empire. Gutfeld pounces like it's the encore punchline. Obama didn't fade out, he flipped the script. Now he's narrating documentaries on hardship from a gated mansion with tighter security than NORAD. It's like truth needs clearance just to knock on his door. Joe sees the punchline. Obama didn't teach people to value substance, he taught them to worship symbolism. And now he's cashing in like a TED Talk guru who figured out how to monetize metaphors. The country didn't grow, it just got better at pretending deep voices meant deep meaning. Behind all the polished prose, the same shiny emptiness. A tailor-made myth in a $3,000 suit.